Members, election law and the right of voters are one of the most important issues that this body deals with. Some have actually called it sacred. And they say that because our Constitution is to our system of governance, excuse me, as the Bible is to our Christian faith, or the Torah and the Quran to other faiths. Every one of us put our hand on the Bible, and we took an oath to uphold the Constitution of the state of Iowa and of the United States of America. And the most fundamental of all of our rights is the right to vote. Crimes against democracy, they're disgusting to me, and I think that's probably true of most people in this room. Take gerrymandering. It's disgusting. There's no excuse for politicians who bend the rules to protect their political livelihoods and to punish those who don't agree with them. The good news is that Iowa is a national model for doing redistricting right. And I'm proud of that. And I hope that all of you are too. The bad news is that this bill makes major changes to Iowans' right to vote. Why? It's a mystery that the Republican sponsors have yet to tell us why this bill is so important. Last year, we had a record voter turnout. And the reason is because we made it more convenient and easier for Iowans to cast an early vote. Our auditors, our election officials made sure that those polling sites for those who chose to vote on Election Day were safe. Hats off to every election official in the state of Iowa for what they did to make the 2020 election fair and honest and safe. There were no credible complaints about our election security, not one. In fact, Iowa's Secretary of State, Paul Pate, a Republican, oversaw those elections, and here's what he had to say after the 2020 election. I want to send a big thank you to Iowa voters, poll workers, county election officials, and my staff. This was an election like no other, and everyone stepped up. Record turnout during a pandemic is an amazing achievement, and overall the process went very smoothly in Iowa. So what's up? Why are Republican members of the state Senate rushing to make it harder to vote, provide less time to vote, and make it easier to kick Iowans off the list of voters? This bill is trying to squeeze early voting out of existence. A tool that this body gave to voters 2 or 3 decades alone, because we understood then how much family life was changing in our state, how much more busy families were than ever before. And we wanted to make sure that they could exercise that right to vote. So, during Wednesday's subcommittee meeting yesterday, Senator Schultz had invoked what has been coined the big lie, the baseless and overwhelmingly debunked claim that the 2020 election was somehow stolen from Donald Trump. How many more times does it have to be debunked? How many? But that appears to be one of the reasons, at least, that the Senate Republicans are using as an excuse to make it harder for Iowans to vote by mail, harder to cast a vote at satellite voting locations, and easier to kick Iowans off of the list of registered voters. I want to point out one more false statement that was made during our subcommittee meeting. As you know, right now, county auditors can begin to mail early ballots out 29 days before an election. This bill will shorten that amount of time to 18 days before an election. The chair of the subcommittee told us that 18 days would put us smack in the middle of all of the rest of the states. Not true. Not true. 3 states begin mailing their early ballots to their voters 46 to 60 days before the election: Arkansas, North Carolina, and Kentucky. 33 states begin to mail their ballots to their voters between 30 and 45 days before the election. And 13 states mail absentee ballots to voters fewer than 30 days before the election. Only Massachusetts is at 21 days. Only Massachusetts. I might also point out that there are 5 states, Colorado, Hawaii, Oregon, Utah, and Washington, that have all mail elections. All mail. Maybe that's what we should be doing instead of this stuff. Anyone who wants to see the list, I've got it at my desk. You want me to mail it to you by email? I'll send you the list. So what's your excuse? You know, I've been an elected official since 1993. That's a long time. And yet there is nothing, absolutely nothing, more repulsive to me than cheating to win an election. I am sorry to say that it appears this legislation is designed to do just that. So in closing, after more of Iowans than ever before have voted, with no proven cases of fraud, Iowa Republicans are now demanding 29 pages of changes that will make it harder for Iowans to exercise their most fundamental constitutional right, the right to vote. There is nothing in this bill to protect elections or encourage voting. This is, my friends on the other side of the aisle, an all-out attack on our right to vote. It is an attack on Iowa's democracy, and it is disgusting. I encourage everyone on the Senate State Government Committee to stand up for democracy today and vote against Senate Study Bill 1199.